Thank you guys. Today we have Rick from Iris Environmental. They deal with all types of contaminants in homes, from asbestos to vermiculite and a whole bunch of other things that are really nasty. We really don't have a company that we work with right now that specializes in stuff like this with mold remediation and all these other things that can kill a deal. So Rick today is going to give us a quick presentation and let us know how his company operates and how they can help us keep deals together and what to really look for when we're showing properties that may have any one of these items in it. As you know, New Jersey has probably the oldest homes in all of the country, so we're going to come across some of these things eventually. So thank you, Rick. Without further ado, go ahead, brother.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Rick. I'm the owner of Iris Environmental Laboratories. I also own Bioterra Environmental Laboratories. Maybe you've seen Bioterra stuff around. Basically, we come in right after the home inspector has findings, environmental findings. It could be oil tanks, asbestos, mold, lead, any materials that could kind of give you a bad day on your closing or listing. So that's when we come in. We come in and we assess the situation for you guys. You guys mind if I take this off? Looking over the home inspector, all the paperwork, good old 60, 90 pages, that'll be a good home inspection. The $900 home inspection. You're going to see may or may not contain asbestos, please consult a professional. May or may not contain mold, please consult a professional. Iris Environmental is our laboratory. Field inspectors are called Bioterra Environmental Laboratories. We bought this laboratory about 2 years ago. Come from an original company called Bioterra Environmental Solutions. I've been in business for 15 years. I am 32 years old. I worked my ass off every day, 24 hours a day. And now what we have here, I'm going to go sort of backwards because I don't want to bore you guys. You guys have been listening all morning. I'm going to go over some specimen here first, so have some fun if you want to pass around. This is called vermiculite. Vermiculite is attic insulation. Very strange because there's a gray area on it. We could test it, tell you if it's asbestos or not, but technically the EPA tells you if you have vermiculite, leave it alone or treat it as positive, which doesn't help us. But we do test it. New Jersey really doesn't have any regulations on asbestos. They only want you to test it during demolition. It's called vermiculite. You're going to find that in the attic. It's fireproof. It's actually indestructible. I have burned that many times, 100 degrees. I have thrown many types of acid on it. I cannot dilute it or break its property.
Is that dangerous?
If it has asbestos, yeah, that one actually does not have asbestos. You can still find it at Home Depot. You find it at Home Depot, they use it for gardening, mulching, basically.
Don't they put that in the fire pits too?
Yes, they do have it in the fire pits as well. This is your regular fiberglass you're going to get itchy from. Find it in the attic, in the fridge. The white one's mineral wool, and the pink one is regular fiberglass. They're double bagged. Those do not have asbestos, so you'll be fine.
Cotton candy?
Pretty much. That's just mineral wool and the other fiberglass. Floor tiles. Ever heard of 9x9 floor tiles in the basement? Everybody has a concern about doing the closing?
Yes, no? I know that there was asbestos on the floor tile.
I have one right now.
Old tile. Yeah.
That is correct. Usually the floor tiles that are 9x9, 95% of them are asbestos. Well, how you tell is the color. Color, size, and density. The color, they're always dull, greenish, brownish, very dull and dead. Nothing vibrant, nothing colorful, shiny. They also have pigmentation, the swirls, little splashes, and they're also very bendy. But not all the way like plastic. They'll bend and they'll break. But it's not all of them. But it's at 95%, that's a big deal. Pass this one around here. I don't know if you guys ever seen this. These are usually find it on the exterior of the house. Transite panels. They usually find these on the exterior of the house, maybe sometimes above the boiler itself. And your worst nightmare will be when the duct system, the pipes itself, is made out of this stuff right here. So basically they'll have the ducts running with the slab of the house, and the air actually goes in the asbestos pipe. Most of those asbestos pipes were made here in New Jersey, Manville. Manville had a great asbestos plant. Now I'm going to show you, and this is the same one, but if you actually look, you're going to see little blue fibers in there. See those little hairs coming out? That is actinolite, type of asbestos. It's blue in color. Very cool stuff. Well, for me, I like microscopes, and it looks very pretty under it. And there's some floor tiles. I'm not going to pass it by because these are pretty heavy. These are 9x9 floor tiles. There's some carpet glue over, mastic over. Or see, these are the swirls, the pigmentations I talked to you guys about.
These are the samples of the asbestos looking tiles, right?
No, those are the cement panels, like the transite panels.
The siding on the outside.
Either siding above the boiler, sometimes duct systems.
Okay.
They're basically just panels on the exterior of the house. You think it's cedar, but it's not. So usually color, you're going to find a brown, black, and green like this. This is not an asbestos tile. That's a 9x9. But the difference is, when I bend this one right here, breaks. This one.
That's a no.
Oh, I just released asbestos into the. No, I'm just kidding. So look at these. This one doesn't bend. It doesn't break at all. It's plastic. It's a vinyl type of plastic. All right.
That's the floor, right?
This one is.
You want that break?
This one. But I don't suggest you go out there and break it. Don't do that. Liability for your company.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to start a little bit with the history of asbestos, real quick on that one. I want to do a little bit backwards because you guys have been listening the whole morning, and I don't want to make it boring. Now that you've seen couple of these materials, asbestos is actually a natural mineral. It grows in the ground. Staten Island has a shitload of it. So basically what we do, we mine it and we use it in products. Why do we use it? Fire retardant, electricity conductor. It has all the properties that you can think of, and it can be destructive. There is one scenario last year that someone said they could actually make asbestos disappear. Everyone was there. The whole world was there. It was actually in Patterson. They didn't hold it in Patterson, went to Princeton, but the guy's from Patterson. He sort of minimized the optical of it, but he could not actually destroy it. Like I said, I do tons of experimentation because I'm trying to get rich, so. But I still can. You can't do it. Basically, you can't do it. So what we did is we mined this material off the ground, and we just, all over the USA. Most of it comes from Canada, and back in the day, I think Russia was the most that mined asbestos. I forgot I was thinking about how many metric tons that we did. Then it was Russia, United States, Canada, and then Brazil. Some of these countries still use asbestos. India still uses it. The United States stopped selling asbestos in 2002. So now after we put all this material all over the USA, gas sticks, pipe insulation, floor tiles, sheetrock, plaster, joint compound, roofing shingles, tar, flat roof, rubber, glue, mastics, window caulk, every material that you think of has asbestos. Yes. Any home, go ahead.
What do you do with, like, when you go to the house and you take it out, like, where do you dispose that? Is there, like, a special procedure for that, or?
Very special procedure and expensive too. We're gonna
get destroy it, so I'm wondering what you do.
Yes, we're gonna get to that point real quick. Just give me 1 second. So now that we have asbestos everywhere, they banned asbestos because they knew it was harmful for your body. Basically what you do is, asbestos is a long fiber and it has hooks at the end. You inhale it and it lodges into, I forgot the name of the little sponge things in your lungs. Sorry about that, camera. So basically it stays there and your white cells come and they try to destroy it and they can't. So therefore it forms cancer and your muscle starts dying, the tissue starts dying and form cancer. There's 3 or 4 types of cancer: asbestosis, scarring of the lungs, and a few more. I don't want to go into more of the health effects of that. But it is dangerous. So in 1976, asbestos was banned out of the United States. But the products in the market just still remain in the market. So I say any house that is basically 1980, 81, 82, I saw a house that had floor tiles in 1984, and it had asbestos floor tiles. So the products that are in the market and the shelf or still being shipped here in 3 months in the ocean is still here. So that's why 76, you still got a 5-year gap. Now, removing asbestos is very costly. 100 square feet of it's about between $900 to $2,000. Why insurance? You're dealing with hazardous material. The problem with asbestos is that, to tell you the truth, is the government gave you this material. Now they're putting very strict regulations for you to take it out. So you don't get to sue them. That's how I see it. Because homeowners do have the right to remove asbestos they own. I don't suggest them doing it during a realty transaction because that will cause a lot of trouble, especially with 2 attorneys involved. You know how that goes. Now, when you find asbestos doing your sell, or buying, selling, that becomes a problem because it's a money issue. Let's say the floor tile, the pipe insulation, and other things turn out to be asbestos. Homeowner doesn't want to pay, buyers don't want the asbestos. So 3 ways I go about is either, of course, one or the other pays. They get quotes for it, which I can help you with, and deduct it out of the price. Of course, you could use the method the gentleman today, Tom, teaching you. Say you are wasting $1,000 to remove this, or maybe 2 or 3, but you are getting $500,000 at the end.
Oh, shoot.
So they only see the $500,000. They didn't hear anything you said before. So that's what you get. You get 3 quotes, get the average of those 3 quotes, and deduct it out. The price will be the best scenario for you to get a fast closing. And that's what I suggest. Of course, there's other methods that they want it removed. Do you have a question?
No.
Oh, sorry. So the other method is, of course, they go and remove it. So how do they remove it? First of all, be careful with that because every asbestos project is a 10-day notification. So if your closes in 10 days, it's usually 30 days or more. But if you're close to your closing date, if you have to do asbestos work, file that more time or whatever you guys call it in your field because there's a 10-day notification period. So it's going to take 10 days just for them to get in there, remove the asbestos. It's going to take about 2 days because they do the asbestos one day and then they got to come with the air quality test and then that's usually 24 hours and that's pretty much it. All right. Do you guys have any questions with asbestos? Because I'm going to move on to mold.
Yeah, I do have one more.
Sure.
You just talked about removal. Is covering it just a safe option?
Covering it?
Yeah.
Like
For example, tile. Yeah, put carpet.
Carpet is a sort of encapsulation the EPA considers. But one thing I forgot to mention is that the EPA considers a sort of encapsulation for you to put another floor tile over a plywood or any solid barrier. But I don't think certain types of loan will accept that. For an example, FHAs don't want any asbestos or any mold in the house when you get that loan. Because the liability, even though you're buying the house or someone else is buying the house, they don't own the house. They own the bank a certain amount of money. So they are the owners. They don't have the title. So if these people get sick in the house, it's the bank's fault because the bank is the owner. So that's why FHA loans and other loans don't want any hazardous material in their house. And after we do the removal of asbestos, which is very, very delicate, they create a bubble inside of whatever room you're working on, I'd say the basement. Basically, they create a bubble with fireproof plastic, 6 mil plastic. They have a machine in there causing a negative pressure, sucking the air out through a HEPA filter. So you have a negative pressure. So anything that flows into the air just goes down. They also wet it, mist it. It's very humid and nasty in there, and they remove it. Floor tiles, they just hack it with the machine, but the environment is protected with the plastic and the negative air machine and constantly wetting it. And after all said and done, they still have to take an air quality test. We haul it to a asbestos landfill. Some towns take it from homeowners. You have to call the town, you have to schedule it. It's a whole big mess. But we have one in by Princeton, one in Wildwood, but not too many landfills. But we rebury it, to tell the truth. Most people just throw it in the garbage. Not professional contracts like homeowners. Anybody else have any questions with asbestos or came across that problem? Shoot me. I'm here for that.
The difference between an asbestos tile and there's asbestos found in a tile.
Yes. There's not 100% asbestos, no. It's between 2. The definition of asbestos is any material that has greater than 1%. Usually everything's going to have greater than 1%. So you take The asbestos, we bring it to the laboratory. It's called the polarized light microscopy method. It's a regular small microscope you see in high school, a little bit more powerful, of course. And we basically take shavings of it. There's different refraction oils, different acids that we can use depending on the material. And we find about between 3 to 7% asbestos, usually in the floor tile. It's basically when you see a construction of a building and a block of cement, don't they put those big rods through it just for stability? That's what the asbestos is doing there. The asbestos brings the matrix and locks everything in. So it's only 3 to 4% usually. It could go up to 8, 9. It's usually the most type found of usually the type of asbestos that is mostly found in floor tiles and other materials in New Jersey is chrysotile. So floor tiles have between 3 to 8% chrysotile.
So there's no hazard.
It's not hazardous actually. Floor tiles is not a hazard. It's because it's called, in our field, it's called non-organic bound material. It does not break down and come up and becomes a big cloud of confetti flying. No, it doesn't, unless you grind it with a saw or start breaking it to very, very thin particle pieces. Besides that, there is no danger at all. It becomes part of that liability that I talked about with the bank. But that's pretty much, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't you just leave asbestos in place?
Yes, you can. That's what they suggest you to do. Just leave it there, don't. Unless it's in bad condition, such as a pipe in the basement is just flaking down. That's a bad condition. But they suggest you just leave it alone. Don't do anything.
So you could cover it with newer tile if it had, like, if you were to put like a flooring?
Yes, another floor on top of it, carpet, plywood in your floor tile. Usually pipe installations, they put a wrapping around it. But the problem is when you do that wrapping on the pipe installation, it's about 80% of the cost of removing it. Because you still have to make the same notifications to the EPA, to the Department of Labor, and to the town. Do the same method, that big bubble, bring all your certified people. So the cost is the same. It's about 80%. Might as well pay the 20%, never to deal with it again. Anybody else any questions regarding asbestos?
So at what point do real estate agents usually get in touch with your company? Is it like when you take a listing on a property and you see some things that might be an issue?
We usually come to the situation right after the home inspector.
After home inspection is the most
When his report says may or may not contain asbestos, please consult a professional. That's the point that we come in and we assess. So our company basically, we go out there, we collect the samples, we do a full assessment. You have your samples in 24 hours, and we have a 15-page report for you. Analytic procedure, scope of work, methodology, my certification, laboratory certifications. And we guide you throughout the whole process. These are your choices, A, B, and C. You want to remove it, I'll give you a quote. You can insulate it, I'll give you a quote for that. So any situation it might be, I'm going to guide you from the start point to the finish. That's what we do. We sell solutions. Anybody else has questions regarding asbestos?
We deal a lot with investors, and investors a lot of times they'll go in there and they'll just demo a house for the most part with just anyone, no one special or licensed to do remediations. If they were to get caught, getting rid of asbestos siding or something, or asbestos wrapping, is there a huge penalty for these people that we should be making them aware of?
Unless they're paying the town.
Because I know a lot of times they're dumping these things in the dumpsters, and nobody really goes dumpster diving to see what's in there. But if they were to get caught, I know sometimes I've seen inspectors go and look inside of dumpsters.
I have done that many times, dumpster diving. It's not fun with all the nails. I did 15 years of field work. I still do 15 years of field work today. I go in the field, I still get my hands dirty. Mostly I'm in the office now, we have 5 field inspectors. But I still go out there for the big jobs and complications. We're about to start a job in Sandy Hook, the armory back there. We do work for the Treasury Department. We do work for the EPA, with the Department of Labor. We work, last time I was in something big here was the municipal building. They changed the windows, but the caulk was asbestos and also the adhesive on the borders of the window. So they removed that, and I had to put an air quality on this side and air quality on the inside, exterior and interior. So we see what's going on while they did the removal. and also drew the scope of work. It was about a 30-page scope of work, how to remove windows. It's all safety plans. So the fines for people that don't obey the law, they will let you go once or twice. The third time you're going to pay $20,000. And when I say let you go, they're going to pay between $2,000 to $6,000 your first time. They're just going to stop you, get your name, your number, your information. Your construction is stopped. You're going to receive a letter. It says you have to pay $20,000 if you wish to appeal. You got a meeting Tran. So you go to Tran, and that's it. You solve your problem there. They look at your history. It's your first time. They'll let you go. You're probably going to pay about $6,000. It's your second and third, $20,000. Asbestos it goes under the Clean Air Act. Therefore, it's a federal crime. So don't do anything that you want to do. But homeowners do have the right to remove asbestos in their homes. I don't recommend it as a consultant, but they can. I don't suggest them do it under a realty transaction either, because there's a lot of people involved, and after it's touched, it just becomes a clusterfuck.
So you guys do just laboratory work? You don't do any field work?
Yes, we do.
You do the field work.
Yeah, we go out there, we collect it, we can do air monitoring, do air testing, we could do removal. We do small ones, we don't do large ones. We focus more on the laboratory and in the consulting.
Okay.
We'll go out there, we collect samples, we could do assessments, surveys, inspections, we could write scope of works, project designs, managing monitoring for asbestos, mold, lead, oil tank sweeps, anything you need we could do. Formaldehyde chemicals, soil, dirt.
You do sweeps as well?
We subcontract it, we get a really good price, but I'll give you directly, of course. Any questions regarding asbestos? Sounds great. Let's go into mold. These are mold cassettes. We basically, there's a glass slide in here. We put a pump, goes in here, sucks the air through here. These are swabs. They're already dry. Usually there's alcohol here. Basically, we swab the mold. We can also take a tape lift, which is basically taking a clear tape, put it on the mold, and put it on a glass slide, bring it back to our laboratory. Or you can use those swabs. Personally, I don't like using those swabs because at the laboratory we have to use a chemical that's very expensive. And if I get a clear tape on the mold, put it on a glass slide, put it in a microscope, I don't need to use that chemical. And you get same results. Now mold. Mold is actually worse than asbestos, believe it or not. And there's bad mold and there's good mold. Let's talk about the good mold. Good mold is in your yogurt, it's in your cheese, it's in your detergent. Those are good agents. Those are positive incomes and outcomes for molds. Those are bacteria, the culture, they grow. There's also fungus, such as mushrooms, or that black stuff you see in your bathroom. It's mold, but it's more like a fungus that's growing in your bathroom. It's not something that's going to come airborne and intoxicate you. But let's get back to business. Mold is like gold right now. I don't know why. Somebody said mold kills you, and then everything went berserk. We get a lot of mold calls because it's been raining a lot. And what causes mold? Just water. Water and being stupidly hot in the attic, and there's a leak. So water comes in, mold grows. Mold is about 7 billion cultures. In 24 hours, it will grow 7 billion cultures. In a week, or 3 to 4 days, depending how hot it is in that attic, you're going to have a whole new colony. So now you got 14,000 mold spores. And what happens is it doesn't matter if your attic is locked, it is going to go downstairs. Not too much, but it's going to slip through the cracks. You're going to breathe it in, and some of the people are going to feel sick, some of the people are going to throw up, some people are going to get a headache. Ever went to a house you're selling and the basement is kind of funky and you feel a little dizzy? That's the mold you're breathing in. Is it going to kill you? Probably not. But mold does kill. Maybe people have weak immune systems. The elderly or a young child. So what it does is when you breathe it in, it goes straight to your nose. Some of it goes to your lungs, some of it get itchy skin. Everybody reacts to mold differently. So you should know how you react. So if you go to a house that has it, you know what's going on. I'm also going to smell it, but I'll go into the smell later because it is important. So mold, you breathe it in. Most of it goes to your lungs. Most of it stops in your mouth. But most of More of it actually goes into your brain. It goes to your nervous system. It actually impairs your nervous system for sending a message to your body. So for young people, their learning abilities will slow down. And for the elderly, it could actually kill them. So that's why mold is important. We have known today about 5 billion, I think it's 5 million, I'm not sure it's 5 million or billion, I think it's million types of mold, and they say we could have up to 25 billion that we don't know. So what we deal with most is those little black spots on the wall in the basement. Those are Aspergillus penicillin. Yes, penicillin, like the drug that you take. What do you think an Advil does to you? It slows down your processing system. It goes straight to your brain. When the message comes to the receptor, your receptor is kind of funky, and it doesn't, go to the other receptor. It's basically what it does. It slows down your nervous system. It's not going to the pain on your foot. It's going to your brain. Mold does the same thing, but sort of in a negative way. So that's why mold is very important, because when you're relocating someone and they have mold in the house and they start getting sick and headaches, you don't want that, especially for your buyer, your seller, and the same thing with the home inspector. There's mold, please consult a professional. Now, we're going to go to what we do. You're going to find a lot of guys out there that's going to charge you $100, $150 to do a mold inspection. They're going to go to your house, they're going to take one of these in the basement, and they're going to take another one outside. So what we do is we compare. We cannot do mold in a rainy day because there's no way to compare. Everything has mold, dirt, plants. If I take a sample here, I'm going to get a little bit of mold. That's fine. Now, when we have an accumulation of mold inside that is higher than outside, there's a problem. Or we find the mold inside that is not outside, then we have a problem. So after we found the mold, that guy that you paid $150 is going to say you got mold. That's it. That's all he's going to do. He's going to take also a physical sample. He's going to tell you what kind of mold that's in the physical sample. We do things differently. We go out there, we do an assessment. We do a shorter presentation like this, an education of mold and how it works, what we do, what it does, what's going on in your house, and what's going on with your body. About 5 to 10 minutes just talking. After we do that, we proceed to do our job. We take samples, do visual inspections, we see what's going on, any leaks or anything that could be happening. We take our samples, we go back to the laboratory, analyze it, and we put another 15-page report, analytical procedure, scope of work, methodology, certification, laboratory certifications. Now there's an extra page that's going to say, this is the problem, this is where it's located, here's a picture of it, this how extensive it is, and how to fix it. That's the difference what we do. Because if you take that $150 report and take it to an insurance, they're going to say, what do I do now? And that's the difference what we do. Tell what it is, how much there is, how extensive, how bad, and how to fix it. We can get you quotes for removal. And that's pretty much it for mold. There's no regulation in New Jersey for mold. Anyone can do it. That's another problem. But no one knows what the hell they're doing. Of course, there's a bunch of licensed companies. There is license, but New Jersey doesn't request you any license. So just be careful who you hire for mold, because they could just ask them what they're doing. Anybody has any questions with mold?
So you don't need a license in New Jersey to remove mold?
No.
Okay, so if somebody comes and cuts it out and throws it in the dumpster?
That's most of my problem I have. It's contractors coming in, removing the mold, or just painting it over, and then it comes back in 6 months.
Yeah, at what point is it okay to use a solution and not replace? Because sometimes they use that bleach solution to...
When it's light, when it's just, it works like an iceberg. If you see a patch of mold in this wall right here, that's just 10%. And the back is going to be your 90%. Now the problem is, what's the problem though? I know you have mold, what's causing it? There's no leaks, there's no nothing. That's what we're there for. We're not going to leave until we find out. We come with an infrared camera. We come with a temperature gauge, a moisture gauge. We have all our samples and all our tools, and we get the job done. I spend at least 2 hours in the home treating for mold. So anybody has any questions for mold at all? I know mold is a sensitive topic.
I walked into a house one day, they had a pipe that had burst. It was actually a kind of, and I think the insurance company had sent someone, but they used like a white paint and they sprayed the whole inside of the place. They gutted the whole place, but they sprayed everything with this white paint solution. I don't know if it was dry lock or what it was, but...
Yeah, that is the microbial paint.
Oh, microbial paint?
That's a microbial paint or insulation that's going to prevent from growing ever again. So after you clean it, and the method of cleaning is going to be the same thing. Some companies do the bubble again, the isolation bubble, and remove it. Some people, they just put a couple flaps on the door, cover all the, those are called critical barriers, all the vents and everything, and the light switch, and then they remove it. I don't like that method because you're going to have to take an air quality if it's in the air. But they do have machines sucking the air out as well, just like the asbestos. Yeah, after they remove the mold, they spray the solution. Some of it is clear, some of it's white. It all depends. So when you go to a basement and see a white spot on that wall, it was mold back then. Most of my problems with mold is very, very easy. It's the gutters. The gutters are shooting right down the foundation. Gutters are supposed to be extended 3 feet away from the foundation. Plants are supposed to be planted 3 feet away from the foundation because the roots will go into the foundation and it will crack. So those are the usual problems I encounter. Of course, there's a few of them is the sump pump not working or just backing up. But most of it is the gutters.
Or ventilation, too, right?
Oh yeah, open the windows, please. Please open them. No one opens the windows. Imagine now you're home every day with your AC on. Let's get a little bit scientific here. And you are recycling the same air over and over and over again. So remember science class, you have your hydrogen, your water, little bubbles. So you just basically minimizing the structure of it. And the air becomes denser and denser and you get a headache. Why do you get a headache? Dehydration. Not enough oxygen, not enough water. If you drink a lot of water, you're probably going to have less headaches and breathe good air. So open your windows, let some fresh air in. Don't recycle the same air over and over and over again. That's what we do. We sell solutions.